In today's Money Watch, we're talking about the cost of college, a huge issue for many families nationwide as they struggle with high inflation. May 1st is known as National College Decision Day, and the clock is ticking for high school seniors to decide where they will go. The cost of tuition has skyrocketed, jumping more than 35% in the past decade or so. Right now, the average total cost of going to an in-state public college, which includes tuition, room and board, and books, is about $26,000 a year. It's about $44,000 a year for out-of-state students and about $54,000 a year for private nonprofit colleges. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here. Good morning. She's here to break it all down like boxes on recycling day. Wow. So let's jump right into it. Financial aid packages. They can be very, very confusing.
It is so difficult because there's not a uniform way that every college in the United States has to report to you and your family what these numbers mean. So imagine you could be pretty confused. Grant, scholarship, loan, what's what?
Yeah.
So here's the tip.
What's free?
Yeah.
What's free
and
what's not.
borrowed, right.
And a lot of times the words sound different in each letter. So you really have to go back to the school and say, okay, hold on. What's free money? What's the loan? And if this is a loan, what are the terms of the loan? What is this going to cost me? By the way, if you do get somebody on the phone at that school, you might say, how can we sweeten the financial aid offer? It actually does work, mostly if your kid calls him or herself, because if the parent calls, it doesn't work as well.
Jill, the really hard thing with college is it's an investment, right? You're paying X amount and you hope to get X amount back in the money you'll make as an employee somewhere. How does a high school senior who has, say, admission to an expensive, higher-ranked academic institution weigh that versus admission to, like, a public college that's lower cost but maybe doesn't have the name recognition? How do they, I mean...
It doesn't cost as much.
Such a tough decision.
I think the big problem with the rankings is that many of the big rankings that we've all talked about for years and years, they're kind of being debunked because these are self-reported metrics, right? The school says, hey, Tony went to school here. Here's how much money he makes. So there's actually a really interesting new tool out from the New York Times that allows you to customize the variables that matter to you. And I really think this is important because what's important to me might be different than for Gayle or Nate or you. And so what I think people need to really consider is that the value of a college degree is immense. People do make more over their lifetimes with a college degree than with a high school degree. But if you go into so much debt to get that degree, it may not work out to be the same return on that investment.
Yeah, but I like Tony's question. So you're saying if you have a choice between a higher-ranked school that's more expensive, maybe you should rethink that because
Absolutely,
of financial...
because if you are putting pressure on you as a student coming out or your family, that has a whole different set of ramifications.
So what's the right amount to borrow for college then?
You know, there's been a rule of thumb, I've talked about it on the show in the past, that I really like. For a student, him or herself, I think it's great to try to say, I will make my total borrowing less than my projected first-year salary. My projected first-year salary.
Great rule of thumb.
You know what? Let's say I'm going to be a docent at a art gallery.
Give numbers,
That might be $30,000.
Okay.
Let's say I'm going to be a software engineer. That might be $80,000.
Yeah.
But if you're the parent, the other thing to consider is if you're looking at all of your own borrowing as a family, you might say, hey, let's keep our borrowing for all of our children less than 1 annual year's of salary. And I think this is really good. It's a good way to stay out of trouble.
So Tony mentioned this investment, right? You invest in a college hoping to get that in return so you can start your life as an adult and make money. There was a recent poll in the Wall Street Journal. More than half of Americans believe that a 4-year degree is a bad bet. So I ask, in your opinion, this is why we have you here, is going to college and getting that degree a good thing nowadays?
First of all, we've just come off of that survey after a very hot job market. So that's number one. But what we do know is based on the numbers, a high school degree, lifetime earnings, you will earn less than with a college degree. And actually, every single degree that you get, the numbers go up dramatically. So if I say a high school degree versus an associate degree versus a college degree, master's, PhD, professional, the numbers go up exponentially. There's a big but. Again, if you borrow too much for a degree that does not pay an adequate salary to service that debt, you're in trouble. And can I point out, the level of interest rates has really changed these equations. Remember, when many people were getting their student loans, they were getting 3-4% loans from the federal government. The range of federal government loans right now is for undergraduates, you're 5%. If you're getting a parent a plus loan, it's almost more than 7.5%. This can weigh on your future for quite some time. Remember all the things that you can't do while you are actually shouldering that debt burden.
Right.
No retirement, no emergency reserve, no debt pay down of your credit
Difficult
cards.
calculation. College level math, you might say.
Very clever.
Yeah, thank you very much. Jill Schlesinger, always the best. Ahead, the National Teacher of the Year winner will join us to talk about how we can ensure the next generation gets the best education possible. Stay with us.
Today's Money Watch is sponsored by Edward Jones. Life is for living. Let's partner for all of it.